everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Julius.
How are you?
I'm good.
You've been all over the world recently.
I haven't been all over the world, but I've been to GDC in San Francisco and then South by Southwest in Austin, Texas.
Oh. What did you do?
Well, so GDC was really interesting as usual, right? I mean, lots of very, very exciting meetings with a lot of exciting people.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So Brian met with exciting people about exciting future stuff.
Yep, exactly. And then I went to Austin, Texas, which was totally awesome. I've never been to Texas, so I thought everything was just going to be like a big desert, you know, and rattlesnakes all over the place.
Okay.
And people with like super big hats and cowboy boots. I saw like quite a few people with cowboy boots, but very few
rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes and big hats. I didn't see that. I had 2 reasons to go, or I had 3 reasons to go. Like one sort of tagged along there. Mm-hmm. So the first one was that SteamWorld Heist was nominated for Mobile Game of the Year at South by Southwest.
Yeah. So how did it go?
We came in a close second.
Let's
just call it that.
Runner-up.
Right. I had this cool thing planned, like for going on stage there.
That's for when we win for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it for then.
That's awesome. The second reason was
Second reason was that when we found out that we were nominated for it, just to have an extra reason to go, I asked them if I could lecture on some subject. And since South by Southwest is a festival for music, movies and games, and also something called interactivity that I didn't really understand what it was.
Okay.
I thought it could be really interesting if I lectured on the music deal that we made with Steam Powered Giraffe.
Yeah.
And then also the third reason was that I got to hang out with
Jules Watcham.
Right. So Jules is just simply one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Big shout out to Jules.
Yeah.
And Renegade Kid.
Yeah. I was laughing out loud every 10 seconds for 3 days hanging with Jules. He's just very, very funny, very down to earth, and very open about everything. So we discussed...
And extremely kind as well.
Yeah. And talented, right? Of course. So, and he just came out with a Mutant Mud Super Challenge.
Yeah, for Wii U and 3DS.
Right. You should just get it. It's very hard.
Yeah. And it's a splendid platformer. And Rusty is a playable character in this game.
Yeah, and he's the first character that you unlock in the game, actually.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the first character that you run into, and you have to sort of find him. It isn't like he's just standing around. It's congratulations.
You have to really dig him out.
I see what you did there. I mean, Jules, he's just working out of a mansion.
A mansion?
Yeah, with like tiny servants who run around.
Tiny mutant muds.
Yeah, who are doing all his biddings, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fabulous place. Some of the time we didn't hang out because I couldn't find him because the mansion was just so huge.
Oh.
What are we going to talk about today, Julius?
We're going to talk about Nintendo Direct.
Directly with you.
That was lame. So last year we made 2 separate Nintendo Direct appearances. One in the Americas with Bill Trinan.
Let's see what's up. SteamWorld Heist is a side-scrolling turn-based strategy shooter that's all about boarding, looting, and shooting through enemy spaceships.
He did a wonderful job of presenting SteamWorld Heist for like the very first time, actually. It was the first time we showed the final game running on a 3DS.
Right. And then in Europe, we got to do something really spectacular.
Yeah. We got to do our own segment of a Nintendo Direct with you, Brian, presenting SteamWorld Heist.
Right. Hi, I'm Brian from Image and Form. Following the success of SteamWorld Dig, I'm very proud to present our next game for Nintendo 3DS, SteamWorld Heist. It was brilliant fun, and you wrote the script, as I recall,
we did.
Right?
We had so much to say in so little time.
God.
And what we wanted to say kept changing over time as well. I think no voice clip in that video is the original recording. We had to dub everything.
I mean, not many studios get to do this, right? I mean,
it's like the big third parties, and only one other indie. Of course, it's Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
we sort of follow in their footsteps here.
We do, yeah. It's like
they do Nintendo Direct, we do Nintendo Direct.
Right. We sort of hard studied what Sean Velasco of Yacht Club Games had been doing in his Direct segment. He was just so composed, right? And I felt I I could never do anything like that.
Yeah, we did our very own Sean Velasco-ish Nintendo Direct segment with you sitting at a table with your hands in front of the camera, so they looked huge.
Right, the hands looked like monster hands.
Yeah.
It was...
But the worst thing was the audio was terrible.
Yeah. It wasn't just my voice, it was actually the overall
the
audio
overall
quality.
Acoustics mainly destroyed the entire recording.
Right.
And we had to solve it by dubbing the entire video.
Yeah, and that looked
that wouldn't solve
possible.
your big hands.
No, exactly. So like, you'd have to Photoshop out those big hands and put like small paws or something like that instead. Or, I mean, we had to reshoot it. So in September 2015, September last year, Nintendo asked us, they approached us and asked, like, would we want to do this?
Yeah.
And I mean, for years before, we had sort of, whenever I sent an email that sort of discussed promotional opportunities or marketing plans, I would always have that at the end. It's like, oh, and you can always let us make our own segment in a Nintendo Direct. I didn't really dare to sort of ask for it, so there was always like a smiley at the end, right?
Yeah, so, and then one day they asked it.
Yeah, so at that time, in September, we had more or less decided that the game isn't going to be finished in 2015.
Yeah.
To me, it was a huge blow, right? Because from the beginning, we had sort of promised that it was coming spring 2015, and then it was coming summer,
then fall,
then
winter,
and then it wasn't going to come out in 2015 because there was just so much left to do with the game.
And those are things we're still working on, like the new languages.
Exactly right.
And stuff coming in an update soon.
Yep. And then when Nintendo asked us about this, we had all kinds of discussions with them, right? It's like, okay, can we be in the Nintendo Direct in November, mid-November, and have the game come out in February 2016? And they were just very clear. They said, no, it has nothing to do with the game. It's just that if you message this in mid-November,
people want to play it soon.
Yeah, exactly. The dev team at Image and Form, I mean the people who actually do work around here, not like these guys. they just really pulled together and made it happen. And it was scary because it was really down to the wire. We could not fail the lot check, the approval procedure. If we failed it, it meant that the game would be bumped into
2016
in January, right? Late January. The Nintendo Direct aired November 12th. We submitted the game November 16th. When it aired, we were promising that
the game would be out.
Yeah,
before we even knew it would be out.
So we didn't even have like the final release candidate of the game when we were recording this, or even when it was broadcast. Exactly.
But we did it.
Yeah, we did it, and it wasn't me doing it, or not even Julius.
No. It was the dev team.
The dev team.
So Nintendo Direct was a big factor in getting the game out in 2015.
Yeah, that's right.
It's interesting how marketing can influence game development in such a way.
Right. And I should also say that that Image and Form, usually we don't work that way. Marketing does not decide when a game comes out. Our games typically come out either when they're finished or when we run out of cash, so we have to be done. So, this is a rare occurrence, actually. But it was very cool to see it all sort of come together at the end.
Yeah, I think we felt that all along, that we would make it.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm lying through my teeth. I was not sure. And I
always believed in the dev team.
Believing in them is one thing, and putting too much pressure on them is another, right?
That's true.
There were huge risks. I mean, by the time we decided that we were going to do this, we still had game-breaking bugs in the game.
Yeah.
And we never ship a game with bugs. Hey, we never do, okay?
Okay. If you find a bug in our game, it's not our game.
No, or it's a feature that you think is a bug.
Yeah.
Fair enough, right?
Fair enough. Let's move on to the Q&A.